Hello, thanks for joining. It has been a while. I have no good excuses, but here we are again. Today I just felt called to focus on gratitude. Gratitude is not always an easy practice, and the challenge of that was really what prompted me to focus on gratitude today. I know sometimes in talking about gratitude, we can roll our eyes or just kind of scoff at that of you know, feeling that people may not understand if they're encouraging us to be grateful. But what I really want to emphasize is being grateful doesn't mean that we're pretending everything is okay. What it really means is that we're able to find the good despite things not being okay. So it's really during life's most challenging times that we need this practice the most, but of course, that's also the time or times when it's most difficult to practice. So I want to share a little about gratitude with you, just really from a counseling perspective. Um, that is my lens, as I've shared before. I also want to take you through a gratitude practice. Um, it's from the Mindfulness Exercises website. Um, there are many gratitude practices out there. This is just one that we can walk through in our time together. What I hope that you can take away is that gratitude really is a practice. It's not something that we just perfect and we never have to work on it again. It's been something I've had to work on really hard during recent times. There are times in life where it just comes very natural and I can focus on the good no matter what. But I haven't always found myself in that place recently. Um, I wanted to share with you, some of you may be familiar with Brene Brown. This book is wonderful. It's also a beautiful book, Atlas of the Heart. But this book walks us through all different emotions. But what I wanted to focus on with you is the gratitude portion, of course. So I'm going to share with you some from the book. Um, so one thing that she points out, and Brene Brown is a social worker. She is a professor, a researcher. She does a lot of work on guilt and shame, leadership, and really how all of the emotions intertwine and make us who we are. I'm a big fan of her work. Um, she has several TED Talks. If you're interested in that, it's a nice way to just get a snippet if you'd rather not read one of her many books. I know we don't always have time for that. And you may not connect with her work in the way that I do, and that's okay too. So one of the things that she points out is many of the emotions that are good for us, and when she's talking about good for us, truly good for our well-being, joy, contentment, and gratitude, which are just a few, have appreciation in common. Um, there's overwhelming evidence that gratitude is good for us physically, emotionally, and mentally. And that's really why I want to focus on gratitude today. There's a lot of evidence to show how gratitude plays a role in rewiring our brain, changes the way that we interact with the world. Um, what she points out is gratitude is correlated with better sleep, increased creativity, decreased entitlement, decreased hostility and aggression, increased decision-making skills, decreased blood pressure, and of course, as she says, the list goes on. So some people may really struggle to understand, well, why does gratitude help so much? And she shares the work of Robert Emmons, just a snippet of Robert Emmons's work. He is a professor of psychology at the University of California, and he's considered to be the world's leading scientific expert on gratitude. So I'm going to share with you this snippet that Brene Brown includes in her book from Dr. Emmons. Research on emotion shows that positive emotions wear off quickly. Our emotional systems like newness. They like novelty. They like change. We adapt to positive life circumstances so that before too long, the new car, the new spouse, the new house, they don't feel so new and exciting anymore. But gratitude makes us appreciate the value of something. And when we appreciate the value of something, we extract more benefits from it. We're less likely to take it for granted. In effect, I think gratitude allows us to participate more in life. We notice the positive more, and that magnifies the pleasures you get from life. Instead of adapting to goodness, we celebrate goodness. We spend so much time watching things, movies, computer screens, sports, but with gratitude, we become greater participants in our lives as opposed to spectators. And one of the things we can really pull from that too is what we feed is going to grow. So if we're really feeding the gratitude, then we're going to notice more things that we're grateful for. And sometimes it's the most simple things that can go a really long way. And what Brene Brown points out, Dr. Brene Brown, is adapting to goodness without feeling gratitude, in her opinion, is a function of scarcity. We either want things for the wrong reasons, then feel disappointed when we acquire them, or we just can't accumulate enough to feel whole. So we accumulate and adapt, never valuing and appreciating. So gratitude is an emotion that reflects our deep appreciation for what we value, what brings meaning to our lives, and what makes us feel connected to ourselves and others. If we want to experience its full power, we must also make it a practice. And what she points out is it's not a cure for anything. We're talking about a tool, gratitude as a tool, not a cure. It's just a practice that can really enrich our lives in meaningful ways. So just thinking about what are the ways that you practice gratitude. For some people, that might be meditation or prayer, journaling. It may simply just be talking about those things. We have a practice in our house where I will fully admit we don't practice it every day, but many days that we will share our highs and lows at dinner time. And that's often initiated by our 4 and 6-year-old. So even though it acknowledges the low, we can still see the high despite that low. That high being really, what is the gratitude for that day? A practice that I have started this year, and I will share just in case it connects with some of you. I started it from the first day of the year. I'm not real big on New Year's resolutions, but if there's a time that you want to make a positive change in your life, by all means do it. If it feels better to do that on the first day of a new year, then go for it. There's no wrong time to make a positive change. I just don't think we have to wait for that first day of the new year either. But I did start that as a practice for this year. And that practice is I've created an album of photos on my phone because that's what is really easy to access. So when we're thinking about practices, really thinking about what is sustainable, because we can commit to doing just about anything, but we really have to think, is that sustainable? Are we going to get what we need from it? I occasionally write, but it's not always been a major form of release or reflection for me. It sometimes can honestly be frustrating because my brain is moving so quickly that I want my hand to be able to move faster. However, there's a practice in that too of trying to learn to slow down. But with the album that I've created in my phone, I just named it Daily 2022. And with that, each day I've picked one photo that brings me joy. Joy and gratitude are deeply connected. If you choose to read the Atlas of the Heart, you can also dig a little deeper into really the difference between joy and happiness. Joy is typically more internal, and happiness is often connected to external, just through what they have found in the research. There's always debate about emotions and so forth, but just one perspective. So I pick an image that has brought me joy that day. What that also means is I have to think about it because there may be days that I don't take pictures. But in thinking about, wow, this moment really brings me joy, I do proceed to take a picture. And the reason that I chose that, for one, it's very easy, but I also love to reflect on pictures. That's one of my favorite purposes of social media beyond staying connected to people in my life is the ability to reflect on my own life, that I often will scroll through my own pictures just reflecting on the moments. So this gives me an opportunity to really practice that gratitude each day, and then I can reflect on it as I would like. And who knows, maybe I'll continue it in future years too. But I just want to share that with you in case it connected with each of you. And again, I do really want to emphasize that gratitude can be really hard because sometimes it can feel like, well, what is there to be grateful for in this moment? And we may have to dig really hard. Um, but I also try to live my life in a way of focusing on what we feed is going to grow. So while I can acknowledge anger and hurt and sadness and more of the difficult emotions, I try really hard to not stay stuck there and to not feed those so much that I can let them be as they need to be and exist and process through them, but I don't have to let them define me. So hopefully something from this can be helpful for you. And you can always reach out to me directly if you do have any questions. I really also want to emphasize that despite this being the perspective of a mental health professional, this by no means is a substitute for counseling, nor does this mean that I'm speaking for all mental health professionals. This is just one person's perspective. So now I invite you to find a comfortable seat, whatever that may mean for you. Maybe you're sitting on the floor, sitting on a cushion. Maybe you really just prefer lying down, but checking in with your body, seeing where you would like to be for the next 10 or 15 minutes for this gratitude meditation, and taking a moment to get there. So now that you're settled in, as I shared earlier, but I just want to emphasize that again, is this practice is from the Mindfulness Exercises website. It's just mindfulnessexercises.com. There was not an author listed, but I do like to give credit where credit is due. There are numerous options out there, as I said. You can easily write your own script if this connects. One app that provides a lot of opportunity for meditation, it's a free app, Insight Timer. So that's one you could check out as well. It offers many different practices focused on many different things. So now that you've settled into your comfortable position, I want you to just start with something simple you are experiencing at this moment. So something that's happening in or around you that's simple. Maybe it's the side of a tree swaying gently in the wind. Maybe it's icicles melting around you, or the warmth of the sunlight on your skin. Or maybe just the experience of comfort from the chair you're sitting in. Or the simple wonder of pausing in the midst of our busy life to engage with this practice right now. Just choose one thing to notice and allow it fully into your experience. Let appreciation and gratitude arise and fill your body and mind. Now think of someone you don't know well, but who has supported your experience today in some way. It could be a bus driver, the person who stacked the fruit in the grocery store, or the author of the book that you're reading right now. Maybe the people responsible for ensuring that you get needed resources to your home, like electricity, gas, or water. Allow yourself to feel how you've benefited from the gift of their work. Allow yourself to feel appreciation and gratitude. Think about the tools that you use that support your work and your life. Your computer, your books, buildings, vehicles, other equipment. Choose one thing and consider all that was needed for its creation. Appreciate and feel gratitude that you have access to these tools. Feel gratitude for people you work and live with. Think of a particular person whose work or effort directly supports your work and life. Appreciate their contribution, their good intention, saying in your mind to them, thank you. Now bring to mind someone you care about. Picture them in your mind. Think about what this person means to you, what you appreciate about them, who they are, what you have experienced together, the experience they've had in your life. As you imagine them, notice what feelings you are experiencing, what sensations you detect in your body, especially those in the area of your heart. Let yourself express gratitude towards them, thanking them for being who they are and for their presence in your life. Imagine them receiving your gratitude. Now bring to mind something specifically you are grateful for today. Feel the appreciation and gratitude for its presence in your life. As you bring these things to mind for what you're grateful, allow yourself to rest in the experience. When you cultivate the practice of gratitude, you may even find yourself able to be grateful for difficult or unpleasant experiences. If you'd like to bring to mind an experience in your life that is challenging, one for which you'd like to be able to express gratitude. Offer your gratitude and appreciation. Thank this challenge for what it may offer you. Gratitude for our mind. Gratitude for our body. Gratitude for the simple fact of being alive at this moment. Finally, appreciate the opportunity to pause and experience this very practice of gratitude in itself. For all that you have brought to mind during this meditation, for all of the countless gifts in your life, say thank you. To all the people, to all that is around you and part of you, for all that you have experienced in your life, for all of this, thank you. Allow the sense of gratitude to fill you completely as you breathe in and out. Settling on the breath right here, right now, fully alive and present in this very moment. Finish with a full, deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. Coming back to an awareness of being in your space. Taking a moment to extend gratitude to yourself for making time to take care of you. Maybe thinking of ways that you can extend the practice of gratitude. Maybe it's thinking of something each day when you awake that you're grateful for. Maybe that's writing it down, creating an album of pictures, or reflecting at the end of the day. Maybe you can even just express appreciation to a person for whom you feel grateful. Simply saying thank you. And thank you to each of you for showing up, making time for yourselves, for being here. Your presence in the world makes a difference. Thank you for sharing in the practice with me. Namaste.